If you want to open a location to one of the most famous businesses in the world, such as McDonald's, Chipotle, Tim Hortons, Popeyes, or any other fast food restaurants, I will show you how to do this in this video. There's actually many other industries you can franchise from, such as real estate, travel, fitness. So if you want a video on any other industry, just comment it down below. So before you consider opening a franchise, you need a few things. So let's go one by one, and this is applicable to any big restaurants. Number one, you need to evaluate your financial readiness. Most of these restaurants have very high investment requirements, and I'll get into how much money you're going to need. But you need to determine your available capital and financial resources. You can evaluate your financial situation by determining how much debt you currently have, how much credit is available to you, how much money you might have in account receivable, and so on. A lot of people don't know about their financial situation properly, so make sure you understand first how much money you have and how much money you actually owe. The best thing for you to do is to hire an accountant, and if you think it's a waste, you're gonna need these documents to present to the restaurants anyway. Number two, on the same subject of finances, you need to have a good credit score. If you show them you can't manage your own money, it's not gonna be a good sign for them. I have a video on how you can increase your credit score. I will link it down below for your convenience. And while you're checking out the video down below, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and check out the free resources I have linked down below for you as well. Number three, you need experience. If you look into most of these restaurants' requirements, they all have one thing in common, and that's having experience in restaurants and coffee shops. Although this is not a requirement, you need to stand out because they receive thousands of applications. Best thing for you to do actually would be to work at the restaurant you want to open, become a manager or a supervisor. That way you really know the ins and outs of the business. Number four, you need to be able to commit. This is actually a hidden rule and a question they all ask during the interview process. If you own many restaurants and many businesses, they might not grant you access to open a franchise. Remember, these restaurants want people that work hard and are innovative to maintain the quality and the success level they have built over the last decades. You need to be able to demonstrate that you can run their brand like it's your own. Number five, you need to settle on a location. For example, if you want to open a Chick-fil-A but there's already 10 around you, then there's no opportunity there. In fact, all these restaurants have a map with location opportunity. Right now, Tim Hortons has a whole section on their website with existing markets, priority markets, and other new markets. If you're not willing to relocate to markets with opportunities, it might not work. But don't worry, because I'm here to tell you which restaurants have opportunities at the moment. I've been filming videos on franchises on my TikTok and Instagram, and I chose 3 of the most popular ones for this video with possible opportunity. At number 3, we have Subway. Subway has more than 37,000 locations in both standard and non-standard locations. A non-standard location is located attached or within a business. For example, airports, convenience stores, hospitals, colleges, and so on. A standard location is a restaurant itself. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to focus on sharing a range because the amount that you're going to spend on opening a location heavily depends on whether it's a standard location or a non-standard location, the location, the size, and so on. For example, of course, opening a small Subway in a strip mall is going to be way less expensive than opening a huge restaurant itself in downtown. But let's cover the general and a range of fees. So to begin, to open a Subway, the franchise fee is $15,000. This is to buy the rights to open your own restaurant. This is a one-time fee the franchisee pays the franchisor, so Subway. The initial investment is between $200,000 to $500,000. This includes the build of the restaurant, so contractors, material, equipment, licenses, and every other thing you would need to start the restaurant. Subway will provide the blueprint to the store design and recommend contractors. However, you are responsible to hire and build the location. This is very important because if one day you decide to sell the restaurant, don't forget that you built the restaurant, so you need to take into account this amount when selling the business. And this is actually the case for every other franchise I'm going to mention in this video. Some of the requirements are for you to have a net worth of at least $80,000 and liquid requirement of $40,000. I will say that the net worth, the initial investment, and the liquidity is extremely low compared to other restaurants. However, there's a catch. They take a 12% weekly royalty fee, which includes the marketing fee. Now, most restaurants is below 10%, but the initial investment is significantly higher. Their term of agreement is 20 years, meaning that if you decide that you want to leave the restaurant, you're gonna have to sell the location to someone else to get out of the contract. I'm kind of hesitant sharing how much a location makes because it's so variable, so take it with a grain of salt. But the average Subway makes $420,000 per year. Now keep in mind, this is an average, meaning that they take in consideration the small little location in a gas station to the big locations in the center of the city. Let me know in the comments down below if you would be open to opening your own Subway location. Now, to open any business, you will need 2 things: a business checking account and a savings account. I highly recommend checking out Live Oak Bank as they have everything you need to open a business. I love innovative and simple platforms like theirs. Their business checking account is simple to use and it's a good fit for newly formed businesses, solopreneurs, gig workers, freelancers, and side hustlers. There is also no monthly fee or maintenance fee. Now let's get into their business savings account. They offer 4% APY, one of the best rates in the country, no minimum balance requirements. And as you may have noticed, opening a franchise is extremely capital intensive. Live Oak loans start at a minimum $150,000. So a healthy amount for putting towards the initial investment of a franchise. If I were you, I would start off with their checking account, get comfortable with the platform, and slowly explore my borrowing options. Check out the link in my bio to sign up for Live Oak. At number 2, we have Popeyes. Now their number and the requirement is going to be very, very similar to the biggest restaurants in the world, such as McDonald's. Their franchise fee is $50,000 and their agreement time is also 20 years. You need to have at least $500,000 in liquid assets and a minimum net worth of $1.5 million. Liquid assets include cash, checks, account balances, treasury bills, securities such as stocks and account receivable. Your net worth is essentially your assets minus your liabilities. So if you completed step 1, you know exactly how much your net worth is. But just as an example, let's say you have $100,000 cash and you owe $10,000 in credit card debt, then your net worth is $90,000. The initial investment to open a Popeyes is anywhere between $235,000 and $454,000. Keep in mind, for any initial investments for any restaurants, you can get loans and or financing. You can also use the liquid assets you submitted to them in the first place to put towards the initial investment. Popeyes takes a royalty of 5% from gross sales and 4% for advertising for a total of 9%. At number 1, we have Mary Brown's. I am so shocked at the amount of people that requested Mary Brown's because I'm from Montreal and I've never even heard of them. I don't know if I live under a cave. And they also claim on their website to be the largest Canadian quick serve chicken restaurant. Now to open a Mary Brown's, it's expensive, but there's a few things you could do. The franchise fee is $30,000, so kind of in the middle of the first two. And there's no information listed on their website for the agreement terms. You need to have at least $300,000 in liquid assets, and this also gives you access to financial support. There's no separate info on net worth, so I'm assuming this is the only thing you need. The initial investment amount is $840,000. And royalty is same as Popeyes at 9%. Mary Brown's seems to be the one with the most amount of available opportunities today. Now there's one thing that I do want to bring to your attention. They have a section that has cash on hand for the application process, and one of the options is none. And there's options less than $500K as shown on the screen. They seem to be way more flexible than other restaurants I've researched. They're also way more accessible to get in touch with, which is why I placed them in the first spot. Now you might wonder why I chose these 3 restaurants and not the big chains like McDonald's and Tim Hortons. It's really simple. It's simply because there's not that many opportunities. And if there are any current opportunities, it goes to current franchisees. Not to mention that it's extremely capital intensive. If you don't even have $1 million in liquid assets, you might not even hear back from them. Apparently, less than 1% of the applicants get a reply. Not even an acceptance, just a reply. I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm just saying there's other opportunities available for half the cost. And same goes for Chick-fil-A. Apparently, they only answer to 0.04%. Another request I received is Starbucks. So Starbucks doesn't offer franchises, they're all company owned. So unfortunately, we can't open our own Starbucks location. So if you're ready to apply or to get simply more information on any franchises, even if it's not mentioned in the video, simply type the restaurant's name and franchise and you can see all the requirements and the application process. Before I end this video, I do want to share some experiences and comments I found from current or previous franchisees. The first one is apparently the application process can take a minimum of 1 year. The process is extremely in-depth and apparently if you have a spouse, they can be interviewed as well. Number 2, this is kind of a myth because I didn't really find any actual information on the websites. But I did read that some restaurants will offer the candidate to be operator of an existing unit for a very small investment. We're talking less than $100,000 and this is called a franchise partner program. Number 3, franchises are extremely competitive and a lot of them are owned by high-profile individuals. Shaq is famous for owning 172 restaurants, most being franchises, So this gives you an idea of other applicants and who you're competing with. The other thing is, a lot of people overlook the overhead and the expenses you have before you can even pay yourself. Because these restaurants always seek to be in a prominent area or a busy area, rent is a lot, and that's if you can't afford to buy the property itself. You also have very strict rules such as royalties on gross and marketing fee. Furthermore, if you don't obey their rules, you can have the store taken back, which is really scary considering you have to put in hundreds of thousands or even millions. Lastly, if you think that building a restaurant is too much for you, consider buying a franchise from an existing franchisee. The major pro in doing so is that since it's a running business, you'll already have an insight on cash flow. Now, these companies do extensive research, so you're not going in blindly, but it's nice to have some financial reports before you engage in something. If you're interested in buying a running franchise, simply Google franchise for sale near me. I will also put some links in my bio for you. Now, I know a lot of people are also interested in opening a gas station, so if this is something you're interested in, let me know in the comment section below and I'll film it in my next video. This brings me to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and I'll see you in my next business related video. Bye!